Let me ask you a question that will shake the very foundation of how you've been taught to pursue success. What if the only thing standing between you and your first million isn't hard work, but clarity, precision, and the ability to follow a ruthless system? You see, the world has sold you a lie, that success is reserved for those who grind endlessly, hustle until they collapse, and trade their souls for every cent. That's nonsense. That's not how I built my empire, and that's not how you'll build yours. I didn't rise from a penniless immigrant to the richest man on earth by merely working harder than everyone else. I did it by working smarter, positioning myself where opportunity would collide with preparation, and removing every ounce of wasted motion from my life. Today, I'm going to do something I've never done before. Reveal exactly how you can go from $0 to millions in just 6 months, without killing yourself in the process. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't wishful thinking. This is industrial grade wealth strategy, forged in the fire of real business, real people, real results. But let me be blunt. If you're here looking for a magic trick, if you're hoping I'll hand you a lottery ticket wrapped in motivational fluff, you're wasting your time. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to command the highest version of you to rise. Because your time has come. You were not born to live paycheck to paycheck. You were not meant to simply survive. You carry within you the same raw potential I carried when I was a boy shoveling coal in a Pittsburgh basement. But potential without system is like iron without a forge. Today, we build the forge. First, burn this into your soul. Wealth creation is not about effort, it's about structure. The man who labors from dawn to dusk will always serve the man who builds the machine. I built machines, mental, financial, operational, machines that produced money whether I was awake or asleep. Machines that worked for me because I built them once and refined them relentlessly. So here's the real promise. I'll show you how to build your machine. In 6 months, starting from nothing, without begging, without burnout, without bowing to the cult of hustle. But understand, ease does not mean ease of character. It means precision. It means elimination of waste. It means doing only what works. With surgical discipline, you're going to need 3 things: absolute clarity, brutal focus, and relentless leverage. Let's talk about clarity. Most men wander through life like ghosts, unclear of what they want, easily distracted by shiny objects and fleeting thrills. That was never me. From the moment I chose steel, I became steel. I mastered one industry before ever thinking of another. I want you to choose. Not someday, today. What business are you in? What skill will you dominate? Who do you serve better than anyone else? Until you answer that, you're drifting. And drifting men don't build empires. Now, focus. You do not need more ideas. You need one idea, followed completely. My entire fortune was built on one obsession: efficiency in steel production. I wasn't the first, I wasn't the smartest, but I was the most focused. And because of that, I became the most powerful. Pick your one idea and cut away every other distraction like a surgeon removing a tumor. And now, leverage. This is the master key. No man gets rich trading time for money. You must create systems that multiply you. People, capital, media, automation, these are your tools. 6 months is enough to build a system if you stop trying to be the system. Stop doing everything yourself. Start directing. Start orchestrating. Build teams, outsource, delegate, scale. But let me warn you, the enemy will show up the moment you decide. And its name is doubt. It will whisper, "Who are you to do this? You've failed before. You're too old, too young, too unprepared." Silence that voice. Not with motivation, but with movement. Action is the antidote to fear. Decide, move, adjust, repeat. You want millions? Then stop thinking like a worker. Start thinking like a leader. Leaders don't chase money. They attract it by solving real problems at scale. And in today's world, scale has never been more accessible. One idea, one offer, one system, amplified through technology and people, can bring you more wealth in 6 months than you've made in 6 years. If, and only if, you commit with everything. I will teach you how to design that system, how to find that offer, how to attract attention, convert it into income, and repeat it like clockwork. But none of it matters until you kill the fantasy of hard work equals wealth. It doesn't. Smart work, strategic work, compounded action. That is the true formula. Let me give you something to tattoo on your mind. Simplicity scales. Complexity collapses. The simpler your path to value, the faster your ascent to freedom. You're going to simplify everything. Your business model, your decision-making, your daily habits. No more chaos. No more confusion. I built an empire because I turned every hour of my life into a cog in the wealth machine. That's what you must do now. And before we go any further, let me make a demand of you. Not a request, a demand. Eliminate every person, every platform, every behavior that poisons your progress. You have no time to waste explaining your vision to those addicted to smallness. I didn't ask permission to build Carnegie Steel. I declared it, then I built it, step by step, brick by brick, until no man could deny it. You will do the same. And it starts now. If this message has awakened something inside you, something primal, something powerful, then I want you to commit. Commit not to me, not even to the money. Commit to the version of yourself that's been screaming to emerge. The one who's tired of crawling when he was born to conquer. This is not a video. This is a turning point. You've been given a blueprint. Few ever see. What you do with it is up to you. But know this. 6 months from now, you will arrive. The question is, will you arrive by design or by default? You've made it past the first threshold. That tells me one thing. You're not here by accident. You're here because something inside you refuses to die quietly. You're here because you believe, even if the world has tried to beat it out of you, that wealth is your destiny, not through luck, not through labor, but through mastery. Now, let's go deeper, because this is where most men retreat. This is where the average mind starts looking for an exit. But you're not average. Not anymore. The secret to going from 0 to millions in 6 months lies not in doing more, but in doing only what multiplies. You must become a master of leverage. Let me repeat that, because it's the beating heart of every fortune ever built, including mine. The road to wealth is paved by leverage. Those who try to carry everything on their backs collapse under the weight. Those who build levers move mountains with a finger. In my time, I didn't lift the steel. I didn't transport the coal. I didn't swing the hammers. I created a system where others did all that, while I focused on building what they couldn't. Vision, deals, expansion, and control. That's your role now. Stop asking what you should do. Start asking what you should build. The business that will make you a millionaire in 6 months already exists. Not in the marketplace, but in your mind. It is waiting for your decision. Now, let's strip away the noise. You need one product, one offer, one message, one system. Do not build a complicated empire with 17 income streams that all leak like broken pipes. You need a pipeline, direct, pressurized, and unbreakable. A pipeline that brings value to the market and cash to your bank. It must be clear. It must be fast. It must be scalable. If it requires your constant presence, it's a prison, not a business. So build a pipeline, not a prison. Let's design it now. Ask yourself this. What problem can I solve better than 99% of people? It doesn't need to be unique. It just needs to be clear, urgent, and painful. People don't pay for novelty. They pay for relief. They pay to stop hurting, to stop worrying, to stop failing. Find that pain and position yourself as the solution. Then, package your solution in a way that doesn't demand your time. Digital product, group consulting, software, automation, licensing, whatever it is, it must separate you from the delivery. Because the fastest way to wealth is building something once and getting paid for it forever. This is the law of multiplication, and it is sacred. You must now learn to attract attention at scale. If no one sees you, no one pays you. Visibility is not vanity, it is survival. And in this digital age, attention is the cheapest form of leverage. You don't need millions of followers. You need the right message in front of the right people. Master this, and you unlock exponential income. But attention without conversion is noise. You must turn eyeballs into dollars, predictably, repeatedly. This is where most fail. They speak, but they don't sell. They entertain, but they don't enroll. Let me be clear. Every word you write, every post you publish, every video you produce must have one purpose: to move the right person to action. Learn the language of desire. Learn the psychology of purchase. Or partner with someone who has . Now, let's address the lie that says you need capital to start. I started with nothing but a job in a telegraph office. You don't need money, you need movement. Offer value before you have a product. Sell before you build. Collect the revenue, then deliver. The modern world rewards speed, not perfection. Launch, adapt, improve. But never, ever wait. Build systems. Automate your operations. Document your process. Train others to run the machine without you. You are not the engine. You are the architect. Build so that others can run what you've designed. Because wealth is not having a business. Wealth is owning a business that works without you. Let me tell you something no one says loud. Enough delegation is not laziness, it is leadership. If you are doing work that someone else could do for $10 an hour, then you are the $10 an hour bottleneck. Stop being the bottleneck. Start being the builder. Identify your highest leverage activity, and do only that. Every other task must be eliminated, or assigned. Now, listen to me carefully. Speed is your ally. The next 6 months must feel like wartime execution. Not panic, precision. You wake up with a target. You go to sleep with progress. You track metrics like a hawk. Revenue, conversion rate, traffic, retention, profit. These numbers don't lie. They don't gossip. They don't complain. They show you, without emotion, exactly what must change. You are not building a dream. You are engineering a result. There is a difference. Dreams float. Results land. Every day, you either move closer to your result, or you drift into excuse. And 6 months from now, the only thing that will matter is what you built, not what you wished. I will leave you now with a question. And I demand that you answer it, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. What is the one system you will build that will set you free? The one solution you will scale? The one message you will amplify? The one result you will obsess over? Write it. Define it. Own it. Because once you do, everything changes. And now, I'll ask for something very specific. Tell me in the comments, what system are you building in these next 6 months? What are you committed to scaling, even if no one believes in you yet? I want to see your clarity, because clarity is the beginning of compounding, and compounding is the beginning of wealth. Let's be clear. At this point, if you're still with me, you're not here for entertainment. You're here for transformation. The world around you may still laugh, still doubt, still cling to the old doctrine of toil, sweat, and slow returns. Let them. They are not building what you are building. They are not stepping into the empire you are shaping from the dust. Because the man who moves with precision, with a system, and with fire, that man bends 6 months to his will. And you, my friend, are that man. Now, let's get brutally practical. You've chosen your system. You've committed to scale. You've eliminated noise. Now comes the part that makes most men quit: consistency. Not hard work, not exhaustion, but the discipline to show up, refine, and repeat what works. I've built fortunes not by finding 10,000 ways to get rich, but by finding one and doing it better than anyone else on earth. And that's where you must now dwell, in the domain of mastery. You have your offer. You've seen it work. You've had your first sales. That's not the finish line. That's the proof. Now you scale. You increase reach. You optimize conversions. You increase lifetime value. You remove friction at every step of the buyer's journey. Most will stop once it works. But the wealthy man, he refines it until it's effortless. In my empire, I didn't seek variety, I sought dominance. Carnegie Steel became a fortress because I controlled every variable. The raw material, the transport, the labor, the process, the price. I built vertically, not laterally. And you must do the same. In your business, that means owning the flow from traffic to transaction to transformation. Do not let your destiny be controlled by platforms, trends, or moods. Build infrastructure. Email lists. Direct audiences, automations, control the machine. Next, we must address the pillar of emotional control. You cannot build millions if you are tossed by every wave of doubt, criticism, or failure. Wealth does not tolerate fragile minds. It demands command. ColdLogic.com execution. You will be tested not once, but repeatedly. Your launch may fail. Your ad account may get banned. Your team may fall short. And, when it happens, not if, when you will either collapse or adapt. The builder adapts. Let me tell you a story. In the early days of my enterprise, a fire destroyed an entire mill. Most men would have despaired. I smiled. I told my partners, "Gentlemen, this gives us the opportunity to rebuild it better. Faster, stronger, without the flaws of the old design." That's how the mind of a true capitalist thinks. Every obstacle is a blueprint in disguise. Now, let's speak of capital. Yes, you will need money, but not to start, to scale. And the fastest source of capital is not a bank, it's your customer. Sell first, deliver second. Use the profits to reinvest into reach. Advertising is not an expense, it is an engine. The more you spend, the more you grow. Track your numbers. Know your acquisition cost. Know your margins. Know your break-even point. Because money loves clarity. And the man who knows his numbers controls the board. But numbers alone are not enough. You must build a brand, not a logo. A reputation. The only real moat in business is trust. If they trust you, they will follow you. They will buy from you. They will recommend you. Reputation is what allows you to raise your prices, repel bad clients, and scale beyond cold traffic. And reputation is built through consistency, integrity, and value. Not promises. Proof. So publish. Share results. Tell your story. Document the journey. Become a signal in a sea of noise. Not perfect, but powerful. Not polished, but proven. The market does not crave perfection. It craves leadership. You must now become the face of a movement, not just a merchant. And that brings us to the crown jewel of scale. People, you will not do this alone. No empire was built by one man. I surrounded myself with giants, men more skilled than I, more technical than I, more operational than I, and I gave them a mission so clear, so bold, that they would die for it. You must build a team, even if it starts with one virtual assistant, one editor, one ad buyer, one closer. You are not the business, you are the builder. Delegate or die. But delegation without standards is abdication. You must train. You must document. You must inspect what you expect. Empower them with clarity and hold them accountable with precision. Praise publicly, correct privately, and remove ruthlessly anyone who poisons the culture with doubt or mediocrity. The culture you tolerate becomes the result you produce. And now, I must address the lie of balance. 6 months to millions is not built on balance. It is built on obsession. This is not forever. But for 180 days, you must enter a state of focused intensity that most men never taste. You must disappear from distraction, cut entertainment, cut gossip, cut excuses. Your life becomes your system. Your results become your proof. and your schedule becomes sacred. You wake up with intention. You eat for energy. You read for skill. You work for output. You track for truth. And you repeat every single day until your machine prints money without you. And it will. If you obey the process, there will come a moment, maybe in month 4, maybe in month 5, when the numbers explode, when the systems align, when the team clicks, when the product scales. And when it does, it will feel sudden to the world. They'll say you're lucky. They'll say you blew up overnight. Let them, you'll know the truth. You didn't hustle. You didn't grind. You built. You led. You optimized. And now you reap. So hear me now. The third month is not the time to doubt. It is the time to double down. It is the time to lead louder, to think bigger, to scale harder. Because the momentum you've built is compounding. Do not break the chain. Do not slow the machine. Feed it, fuel it, and let it run. By now, you've crossed into territory most never reach. You've moved beyond theory, beyond the seductive trap of motivation for its own sake. You are no longer a dreamer. You are an executor, a builder, a commander of resources. And now comes the part they never tell you. Maintaining momentum is harder than starting. Success is not the reward. It's the test. And if you wish to multiply what you've built in these last months, you must not shift into comfort. You must evolve into precision. 6 months is not a miracle. It's a furnace. It burns the lazy, the unfocused, the unfitted. But for you, the man who has built with discipline and clarity, it becomes a forge. You walk out the other side, forged in fire, sharper than any competitor, more focused than any doubter. The empire begins here. Let's talk strategy now. You've built the machine. You've launched the system. You've started generating capital. But capital without allocation is chaos. The next phase is leverage stacking. This is where real fortunes explode. You've seen traction. Good, now reinvest. Every dollar, not into luxury, not into celebration, but into velocity. Your advertising must scale. Your systems must stabilize. Your support must streamline. And your brand must deepen. Double your budget, triple your reach. Test harder, learn faster. But most importantly, protect the machine. Audit everything. Eliminate friction. Reduce customer confusion. Improve every macro conversion. This isn't about working more. It's about tightening the bolts of a jet engine before liftoff. Next, move into authority. You must stop selling to survive and start speaking to lead. Turn your results into frameworks. Turn your story into a standard. Be seen not as a seller, but as a signal. The signal of wealth, precision, and speed in your space. Publish content that educates and elevates. Create videos, articles, workshops. Show your method. Share your metrics. Build a reputation so solid, they beg to be part of your movement. Because here's the truth. The modern market doesn't just buy results, it buys identity. It buys into a vision. And you must become that vision. You are no longer a vendor. You are the category. And when you own the category, the sales never stop. But beware, with attention comes imitation. They will copy your words. They will steal your designs. They will mimic your offer. Let them. You do not defend a castle by hiding. You defend by innovating faster than they can replicate. Stay months ahead. Test what they're afraid to test. Partner with those they ignore. Open markets they don't understand. You are not a settler. You are a conqueror. Now, about your time. At this level, time is no longer something you manage. It is something you own. Every hour must produce a return. Every meeting must be purposeful. Every interaction must either build revenue, deepen culture, or enhance the brand. Ruthlessly eliminate anything else. You are not busy, you are building. There is a difference. I ran my empire with schedules tighter than steel. I reviewed only what mattered. I trusted lieutenants, not noise, and I expected every man under me to either solve problems or remove themselves. That is your standard now. Elevate your team. Train them to think, to decide, to lead. And cut those who do not rise. Because, in the war of scale, deadweight costs millions. At this level, wealth is no longer the goal. It is the byproduct. You begin to realize that your business is not your life. It is your tool, and tools must be sharpened, scaled, and sometimes sold. You may keep it, or you may build it to exit. But either way, your identity must evolve. You are no longer the founder. You are the owner, the chairman, the architect of capital and culture. That's the role now. Operate from altitude. And with altitude comes the need for true wealth design. You must protect your gains, build holding structures, optimize taxes, diversify intelligently. But do not scatter. The goal is concentration of energy, not dilution of vision. One core engine, one core vehicle, and multiple assets flowing from it. You must also begin preparing for the next generation of growth, not next year. Now, think acquisitions, think product stacking, think geographic expansion, think ecosystem. Most will never reach this point. But you built your empire in 6 months. You are not most. And finally, let's talk about the soul of all this. Because money is not the end. It never was. It is the magnifier. And if you've followed this path with integrity, your wealth has not made you arrogant. It has made you useful. Now, you must give. Not crumbs, not leftovers. Strategic generosity, targeted empowerment, lift others, build schools, fund innovation, create systems that outlive you. Carnegie Libraries didn't appear because I wanted applause. They were my duty, my return to the people from whom I rose. You will do the same, not through charity, but through construction. Teach others the system. Mentor the next generation. Create vehicles of learning. That is legacy. That is power. That is the only wealth worth dying with. And now, you are ready. Now listen closely, because what I'm about to say is the final truth. The kind of truth that either sets a man free or exposes him for the coward he's been pretending not to be. You started this journey with nothing. Maybe just an idea. Maybe just frustration. Maybe just the ache of unrealized potential. You were told that money was hard, that time was short, that success was only for the chosen. And yet, here you are, standing at the edge of a new reality. Not because someone handed it to you, but because you built it. Not with hustle, but with clarity. Not with exhaustion, but with leverage. Not with blind hope, but with brutal execution. 6 months ago, the man watching this video was a different creature. He questioned himself. He doubted his power. He thought the world had passed him by. But now he sees. He sees that wealth is not a miracle. It's a structure. He sees that time does not need to be traded for money. That money can be multiplied while he sleeps, if he builds the machine. He sees that he never needed to be perfect, only precise. That he never needed to wait, only begin. This is where the old identity dies. The worker, the drifter, the victim. The one who thought maybe one day he is gone, buried beneath systems, strategies, and results. In his place stands a builder, a strategist, a creator of capital and culture. A man who knows that wealth is no longer a dream, it is an obligation. And now that you've crossed this line, there is no going back. You've tasted what most men never taste. You've proven to yourself that transformation is not a myth, it's a choice. You've taken the zero, the void, the lack, the chaos, and turned it into millions. Predictably, efficiently, powerfully. Let them talk, let them doubt. Let them cling to struggle like it's some noble cross to bear. You've seen a higher path, a cleaner one, a more intelligent one, and now you walk it. But don't you dare stop here, because this isn't the end. It's the ignition point of a life that compounds in every direction. Your health, your relationships, your leadership, your spiritual depth, your influence in the world, all of it now demands the same principle: clarity, systems, precision, scale. Don't just build a business, build a life that reflects your vision, not your history. Don't just scale offers, scale your discipline, your generosity, your inner command. Don't just make money, multiply men, multiply minds, multiply movements. That's the next level. And if you ever forget who you are, if the noise creeps in, if the comfort of your new bank account tempts you to relax, come back here. Watch this again. Let my voice remind you, you were not born to coast. You were not built for safety. You were engineered for dominion. Months, that's all it took. 6 months to break the lie. 6 months to prove the impossible. 6 months to rewrite the rules. So what's next? That's up to you. Build another brand. Acquire your competition. Mentor 10 others through the same system. Or take your cash and fund the next great innovation. But whatever you do, don't shrink. Don't plateau. Don't you dare settle. Didn't come this far to stop. You came this far to see what's next, because now you've built the engine. You've mastered the math. You've earned the clarity. And from this point forward, money is never the problem again. Execution is never the problem again. Identity is never the problem again. You've already won. So here's my final command. Don't hoard what you've learned. Share it, lead with it, build with it. Because the world doesn't need more men chasing scraps. It needs builders, kings, architects, men who've discovered that wealth is not the end, but the beginning of real influence. You now carry that flame. Guard it, grow it, and pass it forward. And if this message has lit something inside you, if it has reignited your purpose, clarified your path, or reminded you of your power, then you know what to do. Subscribe to this channel right now. Share this video with the one man in your life who's ready to break free from mediocrity. Leave a comment declaring what you'll build next, because the world is watching. And so am I. You were born for this. 6 months from nothing to millions, without selling your soul, without losing your mind, just strategy, just clarity, just the unstoppable force of a man who finally remembered who he was. Let's build the next empire. It starts now.